We are here at the second day of European Championships, and the goal is just to get as many PRs as possible because I don't think I'll ever be the European champion today. So I'm competing Pyraminx and Scube. For Scube is just to make cutoff, which is 10 seconds. I don't practice this event at all, and I don't even know how to do a sledgehammer. So I was really surprised when I got an 8-second solve, making cutoff. Afterwards, I got some pretty mid times, which I didn't really care about because I'd already made cutoff. And then I got a 9, but it was a +2, so it was an 11. But then I got a 12, and even though I don't practice, it's still a pretty bad time for me. At this point, I was pretty upset with myself for getting a +2 because I thought that PR average, since my PR average is 10.59. But then I got this solve, which was a 5. And then I got a PR average and single. Then I chilled with some really weird friends. Then I watched Cubehead do one-handed, which I wasn't participating in because I didn't qualify. So the events that I was doing was Pyraminx, Scube, 3x3, and 2x2. Pyraminx was at 5:45 p.m. and Scube was at 9 a.m. so I had plenty of time to kill during this. So I just walked around and watched a lot of people solve, including Druva, who congrats got an 8.74 ER average one-handed in the second round of Euros, so good job, and a 6.92 single. Afterwards was finally Pyra, which I had a really high expectation for. I averaged around 3.1 at home, but I could never get a good single or average in comp. And then my first solve was a 3.02, which I was pretty happy about because that meant I had at least one thing to prove that I wasn't faking my solves at Pyra. The next solve was pretty good as well, but I forgot to do the last tip. My finger slipped and it was a 3.58 +2. Next solve, I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to count to 5. But what happened here was, it started off as an okay solve, even though there was rotation during L4E, and then I totally flung the cube at 3 seconds, so that was really unfortunate. At this point, I was hoping for 2 more 3-second solves to save the average and get into next round, but I started messing up a couple more solves, and it was really annoying. Got another 5, which probably means I won't make it to next round, as I already have around 2 5s in my average. And then I did this really annoying solve that I just couldn't do the last step. I'm not gonna even list the times because I suck. For this competition, my goal was to double PR in every single round I did, so I was off to a good start. Next event was 3x3. I hadn't really done well in my last 2 comps, so I was really hoping for a sub 11 average, which is what I usually average at home, but at comp I never seem to get even a sub 12 average. For this first solve, it wasn't that great. A 12-second solve to start off the average. The next solve, I was on pretty good pace for me. I didn't have that much of a pause during my F12 pairs, which is what I usually struggle with. However, as you can see, after I finished Olo, I got a G-perm, but everyone started celebrating, which is why I looked up, because Team 1 had apparently just gotten a 4. Still, an 11.86, which is okay, I guess. The next solve had to be good, otherwise I would probably ruin my chances of getting a PR average, sub 11.69. And I do a lot of rotations here, looking down on the cube, but overall, it was a pretty decent last layer, and it was a 10.36, which was PR single. Next solve, I knew that if I wanted to count to 10, I needed to get a half-decent solve, but I had a really huge pause during F2L, which did not help, but still not a bad solve, 11.06. Then for my last solve, I knew that best possible average was going to be a really low 11 average, so that was just the goal. It was a pretty fluid solve, although I had a couple of lockups, but a really nice last layer gave me my first sub 10 single comp, 9.83. Nice. Next event was 2x2. I'm pretty bad in 2x2. I average around low 4, high 3 with Ortega because I can't be bothered to learn anything else. First solve was a really lucky 5, which is really bad for me. Next solve, it was a really good scramble that I knew I could risk to make a layer and see if I knew the CLL. But I got an OLL skip and to a T-perm, which gave me a 3 flat. Next scramble is a really good scramble. You can see that there's a really nice yellow side there, which I just went straight for. And got a really nice 3.22, which was also counting for me. I knew I had a really good chance of breaking PR average, maybe sub 4. But the next solve, even though it was a good scramble, I just couldn't, and it was another 5, which meant I had a counting 5 on my average. So I knew that this had to be something really good. However, I thought that it had to be a really good solve to be PR, and I messed it up and locked up. giving me a 6 seconds. Double PR'd in everything so far, but I thought I had failed it with 2x2. But apparently I'd beaten my previous average by 0.02 and my previous single by 0.13 seconds. Then I got myself a tornado from the pop-up stand over there and watched Mega Minx finals. Afterwards was Nations Cup, which the UK won, with Sweden coming second and Poland coming third. The rest of round 2 kinda sucked, nothing much to say about it. On this soda, I have just no clue what I was doing. I got a corner twist and I messed up my cross and then like a V-perm. This solve was just pretty mid, and I think PR average is already out of the question. So yeah, pretty bad 3x3 round 2. Afterwards, I borrowed my friend's big cube and tried to solve it. It didn't go that great because my hands are too tiny for this cube. But in the end, I managed to finish off with a sub 45. Since that was the last day of competing, we had 3x3 finals, and Timon Kolosinski had to get a 6.00 or better to get first place, so sub 6. And when he did, everyone just went crazy. Congrats to Timon for winning, and overall this was a pretty fun comp for me.